I woke up to my boyfriend snoring, and now I can't stop smiling. He never sleeps over on weeknights. That's always been his thing. He has a whole routine. Okay, alarm at 6:15, gym by 6:45, coffee from the same place on the corner. He orders the same drink every single time. Medium dark roast, splash of oat milk, no sugar, and the barista starts making it the second she sees him walk through the door. He guards that schedule like it's a second job. I used to tease him about it when we first started dating. I'd say, babe, you're 26, not 62. He'd just shrug and say routines are how you get things done. I used to think it was a little rigid. Now I think it's one of my favorite things about him. Last Tuesday he worked a double, texted me around 4 p.m. saying he was exhausted and asked if he could come over. I told him obviously. Ordered food from that Thai place he likes and had it waiting when he got there around 7. He walked in and he just looked drained. Not in a dramatic way, just quiet. Like someone had slowly let the air out of him over the course of 12 hours. He kicked off his shoes at the door, which he always does, very particular about that, and sat down on the couch and kind of exhaled this long breath like he'd been holding it the whole drive over. We ate, we talked a little. Nothing serious, just the easy back and forth we've gotten good at after almost 2 years. He told me about a coworker who microwaves fish in the break room every single day. I told him about a weird interaction I had at the grocery store. Normal stuff, the kind of conversation that doesn't mean anything on its own but somehow adds up to everything. After dinner, I cleared the plates, and when I came back, he was already horizontal, feet still on the floor, head back against the cushion, eyes closed. His breathing had already slowed down, and his face had this completely relaxed expression I don't get to see very often. He's usually so present, so tuned in, but in that moment, it was just gone. He looked younger somehow. I sat down on the other end of the couch and put on a nature documentary. That's mine, not his. He finds them slow, but he watches them with me anyway without ever complaining. I turned the volume down low so it wouldn't wake him. I kept thinking I'd nudge him in a few minutes, get him up so he could go home and sleep in his own bed. Very reasonable, very considerate, except I didn't do that. I watched about 40 minutes of the documentary, and the whole time I kept glancing over at him, just existing there, on my couch, in his work clothes, completely unconscious. At some point, I pulled my legs up and leaned my head back, and I must have fallen asleep too, because when I opened my eyes again, the TV had gone dark, and the room was quiet, and it was 2 a.m. And that's when I heard it, soft and low and completely steady. This little snoring sound, just rhythm, just breath, just him. I didn't move. I genuinely could not make myself move. I just lay there in the dark and listened, because I've been thinking about this ever since, and I keep coming back to the same thing. This is a person who has never once in his adult life voluntarily abandoned his schedule. Not for convenience, not for laziness, not for anything. He sets those alarms. He keeps those commitments. He does what he said he was going to do every single time. But he fell asleep on my couch on a Tuesday. He didn't plan that. You can't plan that. That's just your body deciding that this place is safe enough to let go. That this person is someone you can be fully unconscious around without bracing for anything. That the pull to stay was stronger than every habit he'd spent years building. I've gotten a lot of things in this relationship that I know are meaningful. The way he remembers small details I mentioned weeks ago. The way he always checks that I got home okay. The way he's never once made me feel like too much. But this was something different. He woke up around 3 a.m., completely disoriented, sat up fast, looked around, grabbed his phone off the cushion. His hair was slightly flattened on one side. He looked at me with this panicked expression and started apologizing. Oh God, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. Why didn't you wake me up? I'll get out of your way. I told him to stop. I handed him a glass of water. I told him he could sleep in the actual bed if he wanted. He said, no, I should go. And he put his shoes back on and gave me this long hug at the door and apologized one more time for crashing on me. I just smiled and said, don't worry about it. I didn't tell him that I'd been awake for almost an hour before he stirred, that I just lay there in the quiet listening to him breathe and felt something so steady and warm in my chest that I didn't want to disturb a single second of it. I don't know when I'll tell him that. Maybe someday. But I've been smiling about it since the moment he walked out the door.